executive functioning. So what is executive functioning exactly, and why is this important when it comes to mental health and trauma? So when psychologists are looking at the way that trauma survivors, those with ADHD and those with CPTSD are operating, they're noticing that trend that is being reported by the survivor. And no doubt you've experienced it too. It's the feeling like it's hard to get your goals accomplished. It's hard to get things done. It's hard to feel motivated to do things, especially when it's doing things for yourself. So it can be very difficult for a survivor to feel motivated to do things for his or herself. So if it were a task that you had to do for work, you can usually get it done. If it's something you have to do for your children, it's easier to get done. But now when it comes to meeting your own goals in life, being able to write that book that you've been wanting to write, being able to start that club that you've been wanting to start, this is where we start to have issues with executive functioning, and we start feeling like we're having a breakdown, because it's like there's a disconnect between what we want to do and what we actually can do. We find ourselves glued to the couch or glued to our bed, and we can stay there for hours upon hours, days, not getting the things done that we want to get done and that we know we need to get done. So this can even come down to some of our basic needs that we're failing to meet, like making sure we're eating well, we're eating on a good schedule, making sure we're doing our exercise, making sure we're working out, making sure we're meditating, making sure we're maintaining both our physical, our mental health, our spiritual health, right? And so when we have that lack of executive function, then we find ourselves unable to accomplish and meet goals. The lack of executive function is the lack of ability to accomplish and meet our goals and objectives. So typically, we've used in the past maladaptive motivators such as fear. And so we may have even been a high achiever at certain times in our life in high school and college, but we had that fear of falling, failing, or becoming homeless or going into poverty, and that's what drove us. Or in high school, we might have the fear of our parents' reaction or being a disappointment, and that's what drove us. So now that you're out of that environment, what's going to drive you? You're supposed to be able to apparently just drive yourself, but you don't feel driven. You don't feel motivated, even to do things that are important toward your own health, such as cooking a good meal for yourself. It can come down to not bathing, and you feel like you have that lack of executive function. It's like you can't get anything done. And so this could affect you on various levels. So maybe for you, you're good with the day-to-day, like the eating, drinking, taking a shower, but the really big stuff, it just is not happening. The legacy work, to be able to get that podcast going, that YouTube channel going, to be able to write your memoir, to start your business, you're not accomplishing your dreams. You're just living out life day after day. You feel like you're not in charge. And so that's why it's called executive function, like an executive, like a CEO. So if we were healthy, we would have strong executive function, which means we're able to operate in our lives like a CEO. And that mindset, by the way, to understand that analogy of being the executive, the boss of our lives, can help us to overcome the issues with executive functioning. So what we're going to do today is we're going to break down what the problem is on the deeper metaphysical level, and then we're going to go in and fix the problem so that we can cure our executive functioning right here, right now, today, so that we don't have to continue to live our lives unable to accomplish our dreams and to obtain the things that we want, the things that we desire. We don't have to live our lives with the inability to conquer our impulses. We don't have to live our lives with the inability to prepare meals for ourselves, to eat well, to exercise, to be in the gym. We don't have to live our lives as if we're just passengers in a car. Okay? You're not the personal assistant to your life. That's not your job. You are not the passenger. You're not the spectator of your life. You're the executive. So let's get the executive functioning on, because executive functioning is life functioning. It is the very essence of our entire lives to be able to step into that seat as the executive. So what's happened to us here in order to get us here? For most of us, it's going to come back to trauma in childhood. Even for those who have been diagnosed with ADHD, you will find that there may have been a chaotic environment or an unpredictable caregiver or two. And so your brain learns to dissociate even as an infant. Even as young as an infant, your brain has to dissociate. This is freeze response. What's the only way an infant can survive trauma when it doesn't have the ability to fight or flight? What can an infant do? They can dissociate. And so you can go into your own brain and kind of run away from everything. It's like you got a haze over everything like this. And if you have ADHD, you can actually go through life kind of still feeling like you have this haze. It's like an extra layer. And in this layer, you got like a little movie playing of everything that's happening. And then you have real life over back here. You're not paying attention to real life at all. Like, at all. I remember being in 5th grade. That was before we would leave the classroom to change subjects. I had no idea what was going on. So this teacher would teach a subject, and then she would have the class then change to another subject, right? So she'll teach English and then say, okay, everyone get your social studies books out. That's how that worked. I was lost. I wasn't there at all. I had no idea what subject we were on at any given time. If you were to tune in with me and be like, hey, Roman, what subject are we all studying right now? I mean, the subject, not what are we talking about? No. What subject are we on right now? I had no clue. I'd had to look around, get some context clues. But that's how the ADHD can become like a superpower, because I definitely wasn't learning anything in school. So if I was going to learn, I had to develop a super intuitive ability to pick up on clues and learn faster in order to keep up with my comrades, my fellow students, right? My peers. So we can actually learn to pick up things faster when we have what is considered a learning disability, right? So we have to learn. It's important for us today to start switching our mindset on these so-called disabilities to see that it's a different ability and how we can weaponize this different ability into being a superpower. Because now I learn about as fast as anybody can learn. I learn very quickly. And that's my superpower now. And that's what allows me to be a good teacher, because I learn quickly. And also, I'm I'm sensitive to how boring the teachers were that I was going to school learning from. So I've been able to develop that skill. So now for you to get past the ADHD, the CPTSD, the trauma brain, the fog, we have to change things on a metaphysical level. Now, it's true, on a physical level, you got way more happening in the amygdala and not enough happening in the prefrontal cortex. The cortex is the last thing to develop as we mature, and that's where the executive functioning is. But that's arguably one of the most important parts in terms of actually living a life, not just staying alive, but actually living a life where you're getting things done, where you're accomplishing things. It's all about the executive function, your personal ability to get things done. So yes, on a physical level, you got too much happening in the amygdala. That's the feeling center, the trauma center of the brain, and not enough happening here. So you have to transfer energy from the amygdala to the prefrontal cortex. We do that through meditation, through pausing, and through practice. Through meditation, pausing, practice to get the energy out of here, out of the amygdala, and into the prefrontal cortex. So because we're in the amygdala, we're very feelings based. So when we break this down metaphysically, what's actually happening with your executive dysfunctioning disorder, your lack of executive functioning, what's actually happening? It comes down to the three B's: your beliefs, your biases, and your behavior. Your beliefs, your bias, and your behavior. So what are the beliefs associated with not having a strong executive function? What are the beliefs that are holding you back? For instance, you could have a belief like, no matter what I do, I'll fail. Can you see how that would hold you back from being able to be the executive and start getting things done, organizing yourself and just moving forward? No matter what I'll do, I'll fail. That is a maladaptive, a detrimental belief. It's got to get rooted out. We could have a belief that says, everything needs to be perfect. If I do it, it's got to be done at the highest level, at the highest standard. Do you see how that could get us in trouble with being able to actually get things done? That perfectionism, that feeling like it's got to be perfect, is a belief that will hinder us from wanting to start anything because now everything is a big project. So we don't even want to get started. Holds us back. Or we could have the idea or the belief, people with ADHD can't. They don't have the ability. So I have ADHD. A doctor told me that I'm diagnosed. So therefore, I don't have the ability to get things done. Can you see how that could stop you from ever getting anything done? If you believe you don't have the ability because you're disabled, because you're labeled according to a doctor, or maybe yourself, maybe WebMD, maybe you just saw it on the internet and you said, oh, that's what I have. And now you're like, oh, I feel so much better now that I know my disorder. But now that's exacerbated into, well, I'm disordered, so why try? I can't. I don't have the ability. I'm disordered. You see how that's not helping you. That's not fruitful, right? So that is a maladaptive, detrimental belief that you can't because you're disordered. In fact, that whole phrase, the I can't, for whatever reason you're saying you can't, it's a detrimental belief. It will not help you. It is debilitating. It is stopping you. It's holding you back. So get rid of the I can't because blah, blah, blah. Stop with the I can't. We got to rephrase that. We got to reframe that. We could have a belief, it takes a long time to learn new things, or it takes a long time to change. So you get a lot of people, we'll talk to them. This is my one of my least favorite lines next to I can't. I'm working on it. Oh, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. It's like you tell your boyfriend, hey, you're like a serial cheater. You got all these other girls on the side. I would really love you to pare that down and just have me. And he tells you, I'm working on it. How does that make you feel? I'm working on it. Does that make you feel patient? Does it make you feel like, let me just give this guy some time? No. If there's something that's unacceptable, then a boundary needs to be set. So stop working on stuff and start setting a boundary and saying, hey, this is where I cut it off. It's unacceptable. That's how you want your boyfriend to respond anyway, right? You want him to say, oh, yeah, let me cut off all these other women and just focus on you. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to work on it. There's no work on it process. I just do it. Just do it. It's done. That's how I want you to think about change instead of, oh, I got to work on it. But we'll get to that. Another maladaptive belief you could have, for instance, my brain's broken. Oh, my brain's broken. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. You don't understand. There's a disconnect in my brain. Here's the amygdala. Here's the prefrontal cortex. They're not connected. There's no wires that go to them in my brain. In your brain, it works, Roman. In my brain, it doesn't work. So it's disconnected. And so since my brain is broken, that's why I can't. Scientists have said, they've looked inside the brain and they said, with people who have trauma, their brain has two separate parts and the parts are disconnected. Do you see how this could be potentially detrimental to you developing your executive function? If you walk around believing that you have separate parts floating around in your head and you can't fix it because you have a disability? No. It's a detrimental belief. It's not helping us. You might have research papers to back it up. I don't care. It is detrimental to you. The beliefs that we need are beliefs that are beneficial for us, that are going to move us forward. And we'll talk about that. How about I don't have a good memory? I don't have a good memory, so I can't. My memory's not good. I have a horrible memory. It's kind of the same thing, right? We're being very self-defeating with these beliefs. They're not helping us to be able to develop executive function. This belief, routines are the answer. I have to have a routine. It's all about my routine. It's all about my ritual. If I get back in my routine, my ritual, you don't understand. I used to have a good routine, but I lost the routine. Look, if routines were the answer, then you would be cured because you had a good routine. But what happened? You lost the good routine. You lost it. Because what's the truth? That we get routines going for a while and they're great while we got them. And then something comes, because it will come in life. Bam, something happens, throws you off your routine. You had to go on a vacation, or there was a death in the family. And now what? Oh, I'm throwing off my routine. And then if we have a give up attitude or mentality, then we go, oh, well, I was doing so well with my weight loss. I was doing so well with going to the gym. I was doing so well with eating, but now I got thrown off my routine. And so routines are not the final end all be all. They're not the answer. We need something stronger than routine. Do you know what we need stronger than routine? Executive function. That's what we need. So this is the ability to consciously reason on everything. Okay. So we want to look at our bias. We want to look at our bias. Our bias is our way of thinking. So here's some detrimental biases. These are just examples, but I need you to identify right now for me, for yourself, what are the beliefs that I have that are holding me back? And these examples are just to help you bring up to your, you know what? I do kind of believe something like this. Write it down. Get it on that piece of paper. I got my pen right here. You got to write down what you're seeing, because if you're seeing a detrimental belief, it's holding you back. And we're going to have to work on that. But the biases are the way of thinking. Perfectionism is a way of thinking that is holding you back from being able to accomplish things. Here's one that's worse. Prioritizing your feelings. That's a way of thinking that's holding you back. Prioritizing the feelings. I mean the feels. It's what you feel in the moment. That's everything to you. That way of thinking is debilitating your executive functioning. Oh, if I'm tired, then I got to stay laying down. If I'm cold, I got to go here. If I'm warm, I got to go here. I'm sad. I can't when I'm sad. Oh, I'm anxious. I'm too nervous. I'm too nervous. I'm too nervous. Whew. The feelings are not what is supposed to lead your life. It is not how you guide your life. It's wrong, wrong, wrong to guide your life by your feelings. Feelings are good. They're good. But feelings are a co-pilot. They are a passenger. They are something that you bring along with you for the experience. You experience life with feelings, not just feelings. Feelings are not life. You have to go actually live life, and then you bring the feelings with you. All right. So we'll talk about that and how that's possible. Let's look at these biases. For instance, giving into impulse is a way of thinking. Like it's your habit. You just tend to give in to the impulse. One more TikTok video. It's giving into the impulse. One more Netflix series. It's giving into the impulse. Another bag of chips, another handful of cookies. You give it. Are you like that? Just always like, I'm just gonna do what I feel like it though. And you're always doing the feels, the impulses. Again, we're just here. We're just in this little tiny part of the brain. We're not using all this good stuff up here, right? We got all this good stuff to use, but we're just staying right here in the like a squirrel. because we're in the animal brain. So we're just whatever we feel in the moment. That feels good. Ooh, we cannot live our life that way. You are made to be more than a squirrel. You are made to be more than an animal. I can't do that to you. It's unloving for me to let you live your life that way. Stop. It's unloving for you to allow yourself to live your life that way. We need to pause. We need to meditate. We need to consult the executive functioning, our conscious mind. Disabled thinking, that's going back to the, I have a disability, therefore I can't. That's disabled thinking. Learned helplessness. Learned helplessness is no matter what I do, I'll fail. I can't. I didn't know. I don't know how. It's just the helplessness all the time. The feeling that you don't know how, you cannot, you won't, you're not capable, you're not able. And even if you tried, it would be a failure anyhow. All of that is holding us back. Negativity bias. So you're not framing things in the positive. So now anything bad that happens to you in a day, you say, today's a bad day. That's a negativity bias. It's a bad day because something bad happened. How can a day be bad? That makes no sense. A day can't be bad. A day is just a day. Okay, we can have days where a lot of bad things happen. But when we have negativity bias, we just frame everything based on the most negative perception and way of looking at it. And it holds us back. It holds us back. Okay. And most all of us have these beliefs and behaviors and biases, right? That hold us back. In terms of behaviors that are leading to lack of executive functioning, not choosing a purpose, that's a behavior that is causing you to have no executive function. Not choosing a purpose, not focusing on your purpose, not creating a list and consulting that list every day, not prioritizing every day what's the most important on the list, trying to rely on routine and ritual instead of conscious reasoning. Those are the behaviors that are holding us back. Does that make sense? So what we got to do here is we got to go in and change the whole way we're thinking in order to activate executive functioning. So we got to get these blocks. All of these beliefs are metaphysical blocks. Your entire mind works on the system of beliefs. So if you have a belief, no matter what I do, I'll fail, we got to change that to what? How about I can only succeed if I try? I can only succeed if I try. About it is possible to succeed. About not everything I do fails. Some things succeed and some things don't work out right away. But failure is a part of the process to success, right? So now we're changing the way of thinking. So write those down. That's the new updated way of thinking. And you work on yours, particularly. You might have something a little different. You got to go opposite and you got to argue against it. In order to change the belief so that you believe the new belief, you just need to get evidence. So gather evidence to support that belief. What have I seen in my life that supports this is true? What have I seen in other people's life that supports this new way of thinking is true? Now you've developed a beneficial belief. You've chosen it not because you believe it. You chose it because it's beneficial. And then you find evidence to help you believe it. Does that make sense? Everything needs to be perfect. Let's flip that. Nothing's perfect. That's more accurate. It's more helpful. Nothing's perfect. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. So instead of trying to get it perfect, I'm just trying to get it done. Done is better than perfect. There's a good philosophy to live by. Done is better than perfect. So become an imperfectionist. Aim for 85%. That's how good you're going to do your next work report. I'm going to give you an 85% work report. That's not 100% of my ability. Do that. Do that. Set the bar nice and reasonable, right? And then it sets a reasonable expectation that you can continue to meet so you don't get caught in the vortex of perfectionism and expectations being too high. When you wash the dishes, don't wash them all. Just wash 85% of the dishes. That's right. Leave a dirty dish. I mean, you can put some water in it, let it soak. But why are we doing this? because what we're doing is we're retraining the brain to see I don't have to do everything perfectly. I do not need it perfect. The house doesn't have to be perfectly clean. The dishes don't have to be perfectly done. I don't have to eat all of my food. Don't eat all your food. Eat 85%. Just everything. Go for the imperfection. And this will help you to learn how to do life in a way that will allow you to be the executive. We got to get out of our own way. Oh, people with ADHD don't have the ability. Trauma survivors don't have the ability. We got to flip that. Trauma survivors have proven that they can overcome anything. So if anyone can do it, it's me. That's a more adaptive belief. People with ADHD don't have a disability. They have a different ability. And so I need to find my way of learning, my way of remembering, my way of making it work. Here's a clue. Don't rely on the memory. Write everything down. Even people with impeccable memories write everything down. You've never met a person who said, I have an impeccable memory. You say, well, really? Do you write things? No, I don't write anything down. I don't write anything down. I have an The people with good memories actually write things down. They say, I have an impeccable memory. What are you doing with the pen and paper? I'm writing it down so I can remember. They have good memories because they know how to utilize the tools around them to make themselves remember better. They're using mnemonic devices. They're writing things down. They're making lists. They're repeating things to themselves. They're giving things an emotional charge. And then it's like, oh, you have an amazing memory. They're using the tools. You can develop this ability too. It's a skill. Memory in part is a skill. So use your tools. You have a recorder on your phone. It's a voice recorder. You can download an app if you don't have it. You can record everything. Use your tools. You don't need to remember. As soon as someone starts talking, oh, hold on one second. Hit the record on your, okay, go ahead. Yeah, so Thursday at 5:00, we need you to do this, do that, do that. You're going to remember everything because later on, you're going to play that recording back. And wow, the recording is better than anyone's memory. Why would you try to load your brain with all of this information when we have these tools at our disposal? So none of this disability. We have abilities, we have superpowers out here. We have tools at our disposal to overcome. So let's get these old beliefs out of our way. This idea that routines are the answer. Routines are not the answer. Habits are not the answer. I'm sorry. And maybe I'm the only guy you heard say that. But it's not going to work for you in the long term. You get some good short term, you get some good success, and you're really excited because when you build a healthy habit, good things start happening. Really good things start happening. But if you haven't developed the ability to consult your conscious reasoning, you're not going to know how to respond when there's a change in the environment, when there's something that throws you off your habit. So habits are okay. They're just okay. You know what's superior? Being a conscious mind-driven person. This means that you will meditate before you do everything and do it in your conscious mind. Today, for me, was a regular day. It was just a normal, blasé day. I didn't feel like I got that much done. But I woke up in the morning and I wanted to go watch the sunrise over Lake Michigan. I'm in Chicago at the moment. So I drove to Lake Michigan. I packed a cooler, berries, nuts, some water, and went up there to Lake Michigan, relaxed in my car, listened to some music. I meditated while I watched the sunrise over Lake Michigan and eating my blueberries. Then I recorded a TikTok video where I was explaining like a whole class, and I won't explain what the class was about because you can just go to TikTok and watch that. But it's a 10-minute TikTok video that I recorded. Then I went to the gym and got on a really intense workout. But before that, I ate a high protein meal, and then I went to the gym. And then after the gym, I ate another high protein meal. So I got my 2 high protein meals in, and I went to the gym. I texted my brother and other close relationships that I'm maintaining. I'm maintaining a handful of close relationships right now. I conducted a one-to-one Bible study where I was teaching someone the Bible, and then I did a one-to-one session with a client. The client, we went from 4 of anxiety about down to almost a 1. From a 4 in anxiety down to a 1. If you've ever worked with me, you know what scale I'm talking about there. So we had a successful, vibrant session today. And then I met with Marissa, and we started talking a little bit about planning an upcoming retreat. Now, for me, just a blase, not very productive day. How does that sound to you? For some of you here who haven't been doing really great with your executive functioning, that might sound like a very well accomplished day. Like I really got a lot done. Nothing I did today, listen very carefully, because I'm giving you the secrets to success. Nothing I did today was on routine. I don't go to the lakefront every day. I meditate every day, but I do it differently depending on the circumstances. Today, I was just in that position because I woke up and it was too early. It was like 4 a.m. when I woke up. I tried, believe me, I was trying to go back to sleep, but I couldn't. Now, what happens when we have negativity bias? We go, oh no, I'm not getting my sleep. Oh, I can't. This is not. Now it's going to be a terrible day. Everything's going to be thrown off. It's a bad day, right? But with positivity bias, I tried to sleep. I couldn't sleep. So I say, well, I can't force my body to sleep. So how do I make the best of the day? And I Googled, what time does the sun rise? I bet I could catch the sunrise. When have I done that? I bet I could catch the sunrise. And I started to envision what this could be like. I could get berries and I could get nuts. Now, what's happening right now? This is meditation. That's how I did what I did. Meditation. It's conscious reasoning. This is not on a routine. Oh, I could get berries and I could get nuts. Executive function is believing that I can do whatever I want to do. I can create a vision and then I can live that vision. So I can literally achieve my dreams. We need to do this on a daily basis. You got to achieve dreams on a daily basis, but you have to be able to dream, and you can't dream if you're crying because you're not sleeping. It's the same problems that we all have. I didn't sleep at the right time. I wasn't sleeping when I wanted to be sleeping. But instead of looking at it negatively, I just looked at it as, okay, well, I could catch the sunrise. Positivity bias. I'm looking for the positive in this. Does that make sense? That's how this happened. It's looking for the positive. And then I went and drove to the lake. And then I did the meditation on the lake. And then I was texting and doing, and one thing after the next. I didn't go to the gym because I have a habit every day at a certain time to go to the gym. That's not what happened. I thought to myself, I meditated and said, what do I want to accomplish? What do I want to get done today? And I go, oh, I've been trying to go to the gym more often because I'm making up for my vacation when I was out of town. Okay, so I should go to the gym today. Conscious reasoning. I should go to the gym because that's what I want to do, because I want the results of that. And before I do that, I'm going to need a high protein meal. Not because it's my routine, because I'm consciously reasoning. I'm consulting with the self. I'm meditating. To meditate is to stop and think deeply. It is to have a conversation with the self. And you see what's happening here? I'm running my life like a business. It's like a business. Like I have employees that are consulting with me and I'm the CEO. So I'm just making decisions. We should go to the gym. That's what we'll do. I'm making the call. We're going to the gym today, like an executive. And then bam, we're out. We go, right? We do one thing that, oh, I look at the calendar. Oh, it's time for the Bible study. We do the Bible study. Oh, now I have a space here. Now we can get this meal in. Oh, look at this. I have a session. It's on the calendar, right? So I'm allowing my life to be driven by the calendar. I'm consulting the calendar. I am conscious reasoning on what I want to do to fill in the space. The alerts on my phone are off. There are no, it doesn't ding, it doesn't ping, it doesn't ring. The alerts are off 24/7. I'll know if someone called me when I pick up my phone to look at it. That's a really great time to find out someone called me because that's when I'm looking at my phone. If I just leave the phone pinging and dinging, then I can't ever concentrate on anything else when I'm not looking at the phone. Does that make sense? So I'm giving the phone permission to interrupt me. So protect your space, protect your mental space. Don't give people and things permission to interrupt you. Don't say, oh yeah, you can stop over anytime. Oh, no, they can't. Don't say that. Don't tell people they can stop over anytime. Don't tell people they can call you anytime. No, they can't. Give them working hours. You can call me between this time. Or even better, I say just text. I prefer they text. That way I can assess the situation before we jump on a call. If they want to do a call, then book a session. Book a session how? By going into the electronic calendar. Why does that help? Because if you're going to talk to me on the phone about doing this session, I'm going to make a mistake trying to remember and, oh yeah, in program, you book it on the calendar. I see it on the calendar. This is how we keep the life peaceful, but also running in a systematic way. Does this make sense? So how do we tap into the executive function? Here's the behaviors that you have to develop. Number one is meditation. You need to pause and think constantly. Meditation. You have to ask yourself, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? You need to check into your purpose. Your purpose is the same question. It's what do I want to do? Given the gifts and the talents and abilities I have, what can I accomplish over the next 400 to 600 days that will be worthwhile to me and beneficial to others? It's going to be all around beneficial and worth the anguish and the stress that it takes to accomplish anything. What can I accomplish? What do I want to accomplish? You pick your purpose. So that's where you start with executive function. This allows you now to make adaptive decisions throughout your day. You have to start with a purpose. If you don't have a purpose, it's a road directly to mental illness. That's how you stay in mental illness. Have no purpose. Don't know what you want to do with everything that is God-given, and you will be on the path to mental illness because you're not guided by anything. So how do you know what's an adaptive decision? You don't. But when you have the purpose, now you can compare every decision against your purpose. Now you can compare, okay, I don't know if I should go to the gym unless I know what my purpose is. What am I ultimately trying to accomplish? Now I know if I should go to the gym or not today. Does that make sense? I don't know if I should have children unless I know what my purpose is. So I consult with my purpose. So when there's people in your ear and they're saying, hey, we should have kids, babe. And you got people over here saying, hey, you should come over here to go on the vacation. You should move to Atlanta. You got all this stuff happening. You don't know what to do unless you know what your purpose is. Then you pick what aligns. Oh, actually, my purpose is to become a multi-platinum recording artist. Okay, then it's going to be no to the kids, yes to moving to Atlanta. Does that make sense? If your purpose is to have a family, then it's no to Atlanta, yes to having children. Does that make sense? Everything according to the purpose. If it aligns with the purpose, then you choose it as a CEO. That's how you know what to choose. It comes down to what you want, what you desire, what you choose. Your desires and your wants, by the way, are a choice. So if you say, well, I don't know what I want, I don't care that you don't know what you want. It's your responsibility to make the decision. So you choose what you will want based on what you believe is going to be beneficial. And then you align every decision, every day, every moment with that purpose. Your next behavior. Write everything down. List. Everything always got to have a list going at all times. There's always lists in front of me. There's always a list. And then in the list, you're going to go in, you're going to take the top 3 things that are the highest priority. That's your next behavior. Prioritization. You need to prioritize. So you're going to list every day what you got to do. If you have an electronic one, you don't have to keep rewriting it. And then you move to the top of the list, the priorities for that day, because there's certain things that are just more urgent than others. You can only get 3 big things done a day. You can only get 3 big things done a day. Don't try to pack more in. You can get 3 big things done. So prioritize what are the top 3 things I should go for. And then you go for that. So you're meditating, you're listing, you're prioritizing. Understand on the deeper level, you are the authority. It comes down to you. The universe is waiting for you to make something of yourself. Your purpose is not your adult children. It is not your family. If you're a mom, if you're a wife, that is not your whole purpose. They're a part of your purpose. They're important people, okay? But if your children are grown and you're thinking my family is my everything, that's not your purpose. If you're a man, your wife is not your purpose. Listen, gentlemen, the ladies are nodding right now. Your wife is not your purpose. It might seem noble to make her your everything, but it will bite you in the foot. That's not what she wants. She wants you to lead, and you can't lead, you can't guide if you're not in your purpose. So you need to deepen your spirituality. You need to connect to the divine, and then you need to identify what you will do, how you will lead, where you will go, and then you need to go and allow who's going to follow you to follow. Does that make sense? You allow them to follow because they see you in your purpose. Ladies, gentlemen, when you're in your purpose, you attract your tribe. Don't worry about being alone. Don't worry about not having support. The support comes when you're working. It's not, well, let me get some support and then I'll get on my purpose. Go after your purpose, then the support comes. Then you attract your tribe. And as you move forward, you will gain momentum. The momentum is the motivation. So if you're wondering where the motivation is, it's after you get working on it. It's not before. So go for it and enjoy all of the wonderful accomplishment, feelings of connectedness and hope and exhilaration of seeing yourself achieving your own dreams and living according to your own purpose as the boss that you truly are and meant to be.